Hi there, Leanne here from Reboot Mindset Coaching, and I want to do a little video for you today about a really serious topic, because I'm getting a lot of clients experiencing this at the moment. So I want to just give you a little bit of education from my point of view. And this education is on the trap that the narcissist sets for us, why we keep getting lured into it, and how to steer clear of it. So before I do, I just want to reiterate, as I do whenever I talk about this topic, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not qualified to diagnose narcissism. I do recognize narcissistic behavior though, and I have lived experience. I have had four major narcissists in my life. I had a stepfather, had a partner, a best friend, supposedly, and a boss. The last one nearly ended my life. I didn't want to be here anymore. So I feel that even though I'm not licensed to diagnose, I recognize the signs. Now that I look back, I think, why didn't anybody tell me this? Why didn't anyone teach me this? Because it makes so much sense now. So this is why I'm making this video for you. It may not be true for all of your circumstances, so please accept and reject the bits that don't ring true for you. And also, this is not a diagnostic tool. It's a reflection tool to give you a bit of awareness. So the trap that the narcissist sets for us, it works in a few stages, and it's always the same. It's always the same. The degrees might change, but it's always the same. So the first step is the love bombing. And you know what this is like. You know, when you first meet them, maybe they're a potential love interest, maybe they're a boss, maybe they're a good friend, maybe they're a potential partner. They just are too good to be true. They're just everything we've been looking for. They make us feel incredible. They support us. They hear us. They value us. They literally pave our emotional road with gold. We feel so incredibly lucky to have them around. We feel so blessed. We pinch ourselves. It's like, this is amazing. And you go through almost like the honeymoon stage, don't you? You go through the whole, the bubble, the wow, this is so great. Your life takes on a whole different new look, and everything's great and everything lifts, and it's the fairy tale. It literally is the fairy tale. Then what happens, the next stage is there's some sort of a commitment. Now, that commitment could look like a lot of different things. It could be deciding to be in a relationship together. It could be giving you your own office or your own company car in the workplace. It could be being really there for a friend or getting the label of bestie. You know, it's almost like the whole Facebook official type thing. There's a commitment. Maybe you've bought a car, maybe you've signed a lease together, maybe you've taken a next step in something. And that's when it changes, because that is the moment that you've stepped into the trap. And it's not long after that that things start to change and you start to get confused, because it's like, oh, and the distance starts. Maybe there's a bit of withdrawing. Maybe there's some emotional manipulation that you don't quite spot straight up, along the lines of, oh, I thought we were going to do something this weekend. Maybe it's some extra expectations that are placed on you. Maybe a favor is asked of you. Maybe you are almost disconnected from your friendship and your family network. Maybe there's some territory that is claimed. So things start to get just a little bit weird, where you're expected to show extra allegiance to this person, take their side, so to speak. And while this is happening, you probably don't speak up about it straight away because you're confused and you're not really too sure what's going on. So you're just sort of up in your own head. But you know what you do start to do? You start to think, What did I do? What have I done? And then you work harder. You make more of an effort. You let poor behavior go through to the keeper because you think things like, oh, they're just having a bad day, or are they going through something, or it's just a phase, but you get very confused. But one thing you always, 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 always do is assume that it's you that is the problem, which makes you work harder, doesn't it? It makes you work harder to get their favor back. You start doing more. You start agreeing more. You start apologizing for things that you don't even know that you've done. You just start making more of an effort. So the trap at this stage looks like, come here, my precious. Now that I've got you, it's like, work for it, prove it, earn me type thing. So you like really make lots and lots of effort to do more, be more, provide more, but it doesn't seem to work. They still seem just a little bit disconnected from you, or they make these nasty little comments. And that goes on for quite a while, and you find that you are losing friends and you are losing maybe family members, and then you've got people coming to you saying, hey, can you see what's going on? And you get defensive, so they get pissed off and they leave. And in the end, it's pretty much just you and the narcissist, or the person exhibiting narcissistic behavior. You almost end up being just a unit together, which is exactly what they're going. Then the next stage of the trap is you get pissed off. You've had enough. This has become so difficult that you just can't do it anymore. And you push back. You push back. You say something like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. You know what? I just can't do it anymore. The way that you're doing this, I don't need that. I'm done. And then the next stage starts. The person exhibiting narcissistic behavior gets really wounded. Oh, and then they get really down on themselves. Oh, I know it's just baggage that I've got, or it's just how, I know I've got to get better than that. I know that it's my shit, and I really, really want to do that. And then, of course, that lures you back in because you just want to make everything better. And you're like, it's okay. I'll support you through this. And next thing you know, they're feeling really loved up again, and they don't know what they've done to deserve you. And you're back, and you're feeling loved and welcomed and connected again, which is almost like the love bombing. And so then once you've got over that hump, the distancing starts again, and it just goes around and around and around, and it's relentless, and you just can't seem to escape it. Well, there's two things that I want you to know that are going to really, really help you, and I hope will give you a bit of insight into, oh, yes, I can see that. The first thing is, when you are in some kind of a relationship with a narcissist, where you go wrong is you try to get them to understand. You try to get them to acknowledge what you're going through, and you try to get them to empathize and listen to you and hear how you feel. Well, they don't care. They don't care at all. In fact, if you were to look at look at a chair. Look at a chair. What do you reckon that chair's feeling? You go, I don't know. What do you reckon that chair needs? And you go, I don't know. It's a fucking chair. I don't know. Well, you're the chair to them. You're the chair. They don't know. They don't care what you feel. They've never even thought about it. They don't know what you need because you're a chair. Why would you have needs? You are the chair. So this need that you have to get them to understand to acknowledge, to admit how they're making you feel, to get them to see the impact they're having on you. That's where you're going wrong, because they never, ever, ever will. Ever. They never, ever will. Not because they don't see it. Oh, they see it. A lot of them do. They will never admit it, because what drives a narcissist underneath is the most incredibly crippling fear of failure, which is why they point out yours instead. Think about it. If you really liked who you were and you were confident and you liked yourself, do you think you'd need to cremate someone else? No. You'd actually have no issue with people being who they are, because it's not about you. So the narcissist will never, ever, 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 ever acknowledge their impact on you unless it's through manipulation to get you back on side. They pretend. But once you're in, that's where the acknowledgement stops and they go back to their old patterns. So where you're going wrong is you're wanting them to understand how you feel and to listen to you, because it's never, ever going to happen. So when you're on that constant quest to get them to understand where you're coming from, you're just pushing shit uphill, and it's never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. In fact, the shit's going to keep rolling down and keep covering you in it, and it's going to stink. It's really, really hard. The second thing is that you always ask them. You ask them to do something. You ask them to treat you nicely. You ask them to be nicer. You ask them to love you more. You ask them to listen. You ask them to come and talk to you. You ask them to appreciate where you're coming from. You ask them to understand. When you ask somebody something, what you're doing is you're giving that person the right to agree or disagree, because you're making a request. Stop asking. Stop asking them for a change in behavior. Stop asking. What you need to do is start telling. Not accusing. Don't go there, because it won't end well. Don't accuse. Just state. Set a boundary, because, oh, that narcissist doesn't like a boundary. And they're going to arc up, and they're going to wait for you to go, oh, I feel really bad now. And then you're going to make it up to them. Understand the pattern. Understand the pattern. Boundaries. Now, a really good boundary could sound like, in order for us to have a really good relationship, I need to feel that I'm really valued and heard. If I don't have that, I actually just can't be a part of this relationship. So you're making it about you. You're not asking them to do anything, and you're not accusing them of anything. Another boundary could be like, yep, I really want to chat to you about this, but I can't have a conversation if my emotions are heightened because I'm getting aggression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait, and I'll come back to this later once we're both feeling okay. You're not actually accusing them of anything. You're stating what it is that you need, and then you are taking the action. So see, in the first one is, in order for me to be in a relationship, this is what I need. And if I can't get that, I can't be in the relationship. In nowhere there's no request to them. You're stating how it is. The boundary is, yes, I want to have a really good conversation with you and see if we can resolve this, but I can't have a meaningful conversation if there's heightened emotions. So I'm going to step back, and I'm going to wait until we can have this conversation when we're both feeling ready for it. It could be, I need to know that I'm valued. So I need people to actually understand where I come from and value that and want to value that. So if anybody does talk to me in an aggressive, gaslighty way, I'm actually going to have to just step back, just because I need to have a think about what it is I want to do. That's where your boundaries come in for a narcissist. Stop asking, because every time you ask, you are creating the servant-master relationship, the parent-child relationship, the staff and boss relationship. When you ask, you're giving them the power to decide if you can get it. You've got to take the whole request out of it, be really nice about it, and state what it is that you need and what you will do if you don't have it and you don't make it about them at all. Stop asking. Stop asking. The last thing that I want you to understand, which is really, 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 really important. In fact, it's more important than anything that I've just shared with you. And that is, in a relationship with a narcissist, whether they are your boss, your parent, your partner, a friend, it's not them with the power. It's you. It's you. Because a narcissist cannot be a narcissist in a room on their own. They can't. They need a victim. They need someone to prey on. And if they don't have that, so you are the one with the power. You've been thinking that you need to get them to be a part of the solution in order for you to have permission to do what it is that you want. Never ever going to happen. You'll always be waiting for them to meet you halfway. You're always going to be waiting for them to decide to come over to your side. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So please realize that you're the one with the power. The reason that you're not using it is because you think you need to take them on. You think you need to stand up to them. You think you need to confront them. None of that is required. In fact, all of that keeps that trap alive because you're pleading with them almost. Take that out of the equation. What happens if you just step back? You literally just step back and say, look, I really love you, but I need to feel good. So I'm going to step back for a while because I can't be in a relationship where I don't feel good. I don't expect you to change, and I'm definitely not blaming you for that, but I need to step back for a while because I'm struggling with this. How brilliant is that? That is a really powerful statement. And you're going to have the other person get really confused. They are going to push back. They are going to push back, and they're going to try and manipulate you and re-put you into that cycle of you thinking you're the problem. They're going to say something like, so you're saying that you don't love me anymore, or you're saying that I need to leave, or what, are you saying that I caused this? Remember, they're going to push back because they're uncomfortable, because they're like, oh my God, I'm losing my power. Give me back my power. And the way they get back their power is they make you feel bad, and they drop you back into that servant mode. And they do it by making you feel like you need to earn their love. Don't fall for it. If they do push back and say, well, what? So you want me to leave then? I suppose that's the end of the relationship. You want me to just pack my bags and go? Or fine then, you say, I just won't talk to you anymore. Like, I'll just, that's it for us. Your reply to that would be something along the lines of, it's a shame that you feel that that's what needs to happen. But if you think that's what you need to do, I completely understand. See, the whole time you've been thinking that you need to argue with them. They want you to. They want you to argue with them. In fact, the reason they're unpleasant is so that you start matching their behavior and you start being unpleasant too, because then they get to be the victim again and make you the awful person, and they're back in the trap. And so are you. So to recap very quickly, they will love bomb you, then they will punish you and distance you from everything you love. Then they will make you earn their love. And then when you push back, they will be so wounded and hurt that they need you to come back in and protect them, and you're back in a cycle. Secondly, stop asking. Stop asking them to understand. They never ever will. Even though they do deep down inside, they'll never admit it. Stop asking, start stating. Stating. I need this from a friend, or I need this from whatever. I just need to step back for a while because I'm not feeling really good. I'm going to do some work on myself and take a break. And the last thing is to stop seeing them as scary and start seeing them as scared, because that's what they are. And that's why you think they are the powerful ones. Consider this. If they were so powerful, why is it that the only way they get to be powerful is to take away your power? Who had it in the first place? Why do they need your power in order to be powerful? Why do they need to take yours away? Something to think about. I'd really like you to roll this around and have a bit of a think about it. Maybe watch this video a couple of times, because you'll pick up a few different things each time you do. Again, I'm not speaking from a scientific point of view. I'm not a psychologist, but I am a survivor of 4 major narcissists. And now that I look back, I realize I never saw the pattern when I was in the relationship, but now that I'm out of it, it was exactly the same with all of them. And you know what? Now that I'm not a magnet for narcissists, they stay the fuck away from me. I actually don't attract them at all. And here's the interesting thing. If they do come near me, there's no currency. My emotions aren't for sale. So they don't get anything from that. So they actually treat me really nicely, and they're really good people because they don't get any of that control. That control doesn't swing with me, so they don't demonstrate it. I'd love to know if this hits home a bit for you, or if it resonates. Please be aware that if this has stirred something up for you, reach out to someone and have a bit of a chat about it. Resist the urge to reach out to someone that might also be in the cycle, because if you're then unloading onto them, you're actually weightening their load, which is not a bad thing. But if they don't have the tools to know how to put you back together, they're actually going to break themselves in the process trying to. Go and find a therapist. You can reach out to me if you like. You can find me at rebootyourlife.com.au, or go and see someone. Go see your doctor. Get yourself a mental health plan, which then entitles you to some visits with a psychologist who can help you break this apart and understand it more. Because once you understand the trap, you will steer clear of it. Not because anyone had to have an argument, but just because you went, oh, there it is, I'll just step this way. Nobody needs to suffer, including the person demonstrating the behavior. So I'm Leanne from Reboot Mindset Coaching, and you can find me at rebootyourlife.com.au. I hope this little bit of education has helped.